Well, hello everybody. Welcome to a Sunday Live here. We got Simon and Steve, myself, Daryl, Ledyard from Mass Page Tools. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was off last week. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for that. And I didn't want to miss this week. I come to you from my car this week because we had an event here in our city. It's a state fair. And our kid is doing an event. He's a DJ, actually, Stephen.
Like me. Well, I don't do it now, but
no, my son's doing it now. My stepson, and he's at a DJ school, and they brought the DJ school to DJ at this stage here at the fairgrounds. And so we wanted to drop him off, and my wife wanted to come, and so I figured I would just do it from the car. And then all of a sudden, I realized we had a bad internet and my power in my car is not working good, so I'm only going to be here about 10 minutes or so, but anyway, I just wanted to jump in and say hello.
We'll hold it together with sellotape and string, don't worry.
Yeah, it's all right. We've got some part-timers on the show, Daryl, but don't worry, we'll make up for that. That's no problem at all.
I'll show you this is the car view of me. Yes. And I've transported it out in my car, and you can see it is officially raining here in Syracuse, New York, and if you go around, you'll see there's more cars and more cars and more cars. Yeah. So anyway, it'll be a short show for me, but you guys can go ahead and carry on and do your thing. We appreciate our guests coming to join us on our Sunday lives here. If you're just watching now, go ahead and put into the chat a little comment. Say hello. We'd love to hear from you. And we've got some really great things to teach you about. Simon, what do you have that you were going to talk about?
So I'm just going to share some thoughts on CTR, click-through rate, and engagement, and what that means for SEO, some of the signals that Google sees, and obviously how that can help you boost your rankings. So I've got a few things to share on that.
Awesome. Paul, hi. All right. Steve, what were you going to talk about?
I'm talking about a few minor issues. They're not really issues, but minor things in Magic Page plugin. For an example, if you're using Elementor and you go to edit the Magic Page or any of the pages, and they suddenly come up with a weird box saying that you can't edit this page, content's missing, I've got the fix for that, and I'm going to tell you about that later. And also I'm going to explain the reasons why you can't put spin text in a spin text shortcode in Magic Page plugin. So that's coming a bit later.
You can't put spin text in a spin text shortcode. Is that a new thing?
That's been a thing for a while. That you can do it, but it will slow your website down something chronic.
Wow.
More so in the admin panel than on the front end.
Okay, I gotcha.
Right.
Okay, I will be watching the replay to catch that, because I would like to know for sure. Don, no alerts today. Hello. I'm not sure what alerts are we talking about there, Don. I'm not quite sure on that. We do have the domains that we're going to give away today, but I will not be on here to give it away. But these are the domains that we're going to give away. One of these, best with an S, prices.com, gamersupreme.com, Incredibill.com, and logosniper.com. These are real business brandable domains that I've actually purchased to build projects off of. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get a chance at one of these. And if you get it and you want a developer or somebody, let me know, and I can hook you up with somebody that could possibly help you to build one of these out. They're not exactly lead gen sites, but you can either flip it or do something with it. We have a lot of people in our Facebook group that are actual just domainers, and people that are watching the YouTube channel that have watched some of my videos about buying domains and flipping them and things like that. So this one is for you guys, so that you got some domains that you get free of charge. No, $2,500 or $3,500 that we typically charge for some of these domains. You can go ahead and grab them from Stephen and Simon later on in the show today. So good on you for being here, right? So we've got some stuff going on my end with Mass Page Tools. It is mass.page, just like as you see next to my name there, mass.page. We are working on the rest of the Imagefly. We have a whole bunch of people that are Menterprise people now that came in through watching our webinar. And one of the things that Menterprise really could use is image hosting for and image processing. So one of the things we want to bring to the table is allow people to be able to do the image hosting that we do with the form, but then be able to host it on their own IP address, their own domains and everything like that, and be able to do some really kind of cool stuff with the form. So what I want to do is to kind of show you what it looks like, and it's going to be interesting here because I will have to have you guys go ahead and click the button to share it. Tell me when it's shared. Can you put it up on the screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen now on now. Yeah.
Okay, so well, so basically this is the Imagefly. You won't have access to this yet because it is in our staging environment. But if you put in Daryl here, and whoops, let's go to our chat thing. If you put Daryl in here, let's see, Daryl L, and we go ahead and put in Daryl at domain.com. All right, and we're going to go ahead and put in Ledger Digital Marketing. So I'm just going to put in this one because I know that it is going to populate. So it's going ahead, just like with the form, but this is with Imagefly. It's going ahead and grabbing the GMB information, the latitude, longitude, the zip code, all of that, and the radius. I'm going to start to change this down to like 8 because they're attracting too many locations. So we don't want to have too many. We want to have, maybe each area is different, but let's take a look. Yeah, so this is good. So the images will have these here, all of these different cities and locations on the images. Okay, here's some a phone number. You can go ahead and put in some adjectives that can go and modify your niche. Okay. Your niche could be web design, and this could be web designers. I didn't test this just before doing this, but I did test it earlier in the week, so it could blow up in my face, but we'll see. That makes it more suspenseful, right, to say that?
Definitely more exciting this way, Daryl. Live demos, they say always don't do them. So you're living on the edge.
Don't do them.
It. Don't do them in a field when you're in a car park in a thunderstorm. Don't do them. Don't do them that way.
Thunderstorm. I got power problems. Everything can go terribly wrong in this. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and save it and hit OK. And now it's time to import your images. And so we've boosted this up. Instead of doing 20 at a time, you can do 100 at a time, approximately. All right. So what I'll do is we'll go to, let me see, pictures. All right. Where are you? All right. It jumped on me. All right, here's some pictures. I'm just gonna take a look and see. I think these are like just various pictures I put up. I don't even know. We'll see. It'll be a surprise to you and me. I don't do anything crazy, so these are all cat pictures. I was doing a website called Alley Cat, and that's why I have a bunch of alley cats on here. All right, so we're gonna upload these pictures. There's 27 of them. It's gonna go in and process them. More lightning. All right, it's doing its thing. It's encoding all of the coding in them. Okay, and now it's in our image library. Okay, so now if you go ahead and you select all, right, and let's see. Oh wait, hang on a second. It's already done. Hold on. Let me unselect all. Let me look at the details. There you go. So it has the information in here. This didn't get spun, which I'll make sure that that gets done. But you can see that it's got the keywords in there, the city, the state, the location, the author, this information here. And we'll have this so that the tokens and the spin text will decode in this view as well. Okay, so you'll be able to have that all set. So all these images will have all that. Plus they'll have a really cool thing with it being that it'll have a URL that'll be on your own domain. So instead of having images.link, okay, which could be a potential footprint, right? So you could say, I don't want my images, because somebody could search my images and see what network I have, right? So you could have your own domain, and then point it to the hosting platform that we're going to recommend for you to do this. So there's a few options we're looking at now, but these images, you'll have the URL, so you'll be able to copy and paste them right into Mentorprise or into another software like PageGenerator Pro or any of those things where an image would be good to have. All right, so that's it, Imagefly right now. And then what's going to happen is it will have it so that some of that data can make overlays on top of the images, and so you can have wording on top of the images as well. And that will be pushed live eventually after we get this first phase. We want to make sure that the first phase is working mostly for the Mentorprise folks that really need it to have their images of their own hosted. So that's what we're really pushing hard for that. All right. There was another thing I was going to mention. Oh yeah, I was doing some experimenting with Magic Page plugin, and the difference between the dynamic pages and the actual hard-coded, not hard-coded, the
physical pages.
Physical pages, yes. And same pages. And what I did was I just put the city. Okay, so it's suchandsuch.com/city. And then I also have the dynamic page as well, indexed, right? Between the two, consistently the /city, the static page, without ranking the dynamic page. Okay, so you guys can just check on your own and see how it works for you. But like I said, and I don't know if I said it in this or in an advanced training, but it's whatever you put that's closest to your .com on either the left or the right, okay, in a keyword sense, matters a lot, almost more than your other SEO things like your H1s and things like that. So really think about your slug and think about how competitive the word is, and then try to get that most competitive word closest to the .com. Okay, so if it's on the right hand side or the left hand side, have that competitive word, okay, as close to that as possible. So that means if you have subdomains like you do with Mentorprise, you don't want to have an extremely long string of text to be your subdomain for a couple reasons. One, it ruins your trust, because people trust short domains better. Okay. Number two, it's going to put you further and further away from having the most relevancy. So when I say relevancy, and I think that Simon's talked about this before, when you're building any kind of silo, okay, and my battery is running pretty low right now, so I'm going to get off here in a minute. You're going to put the hardest domain, like plumbers would be the hardest keyword to get. So if you put plumbers and then slash and then put in your town and city, that's okay, right? Because the town and city doesn't have to be mentioned as much. It's a modifier to the word plumber, right? Plumber is the harder thing to rank for. That's why if you're doing the slugs in the dynamic pages, you make sure that you take advantage of that slug. Don't just put local or whatever. I would actually try to put your niche in there, because that, again, is closest to the .com. So you want to make sure to use that keyword space effectively. Do you guys follow with what I'm saying?
Yeah,
following, definitely. Yeah.
This is something I've been working and experimented with. I've tried near me, I've tried local, and none of that stuff works as well is if you actually put your real target in that slug, or else try to get as much information in that slug as close to that .com as possible after the /. So, all right,
Mike talks about that as well. He says it's down to your own personal preference, but you can either go with, for example, if your site was myplumber.com, you could go myplumber.com /underfloor heating /location, and that would work for you.
Yep.
Some people like to go with location than the niche. I prefer, like you, Daryl, to actually go with the niche first and then the location. And you can set up on most hosts more than one fresh install of WordPress in a separate folder, and then build a site out, an entire WordPress site out with MPP and all your keywords and everything. So then it can be myplumber.com /underfloor heating, and underfloor heating is a whole new site all about underfloor heating. Then you can have one about boiler repairs, and that's a whole new site again. And then off the side of that, then you have all the locations that Google can pick up on top of.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that I think that would be optimal is when you're dealing with really small towns. Okay. Be careful not to treat them with equal link juice and equal closest to the .com as you do the most competitive ones. For example, this is why you'll see a lot of GMB people and people that understand localizing. They'll put like the metro, so it'll be plumber / New York City / Bronx, right? Because Bronx isn't typically what people are searching for, but they are searching for, let's say, New York City, but it's within the area of New York City, right? So that it's sort of the metro is the hard one to rank for, but the further away, like the smaller it is, not that Bronx is very small, but I'm just saying for people that understand, it would almost be the more perfect model with MassPage to have different strategies for the competitiveness of the keyword, whereby if it's super competitive, you can push a little bit harder with your link juice and with your repetition in keyword density. Whereas if it's a very small community, if you do the same thing, it's going to trigger this isn't so right with Google, okay? Just because in its logic, it knows that town and city doesn't have that much. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that I do, and I discussed it on Bradley Benner's group the other day about how I silo, and we'll get to that someday. We'll talk about how we silo with Magic Page plugin effectively, because having that working to your advantage is going to help build authority. It's going to help you with Google. It's going to help you with building long-term indexing on your pages. Not that flash pan that Google will give you a little bit of love fast and then all of a sudden take it away. So everybody's seen that with MassPage. So I think if you set it up properly so that you're building authority and building authority to the pages that are the most competitive, so that way you can get traffic. And then you got Simon talking about CTR, okay, manipulation. And, he's going to probably talk to you about how you don't do CTR manipulation unless you already have some base traffic, because otherwise it's going to be sniffed out as being manipulated. Because if every single impression is turning into a click all over your website, it's a deadly way to do CTR to your SEO. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that, what comes first, the chicken or the egg. You're playing that game a lot with Google, and traffic sometimes gives you the permission slip to do a lot of these kinds of little gray hat things, CTR manipulation and other kinds of really good SEO gems. But you just got to be careful, guys, and just don't be a newbie about this. Think about it before you do it. If it's something that doesn't make sense logically in your head, that you would get all these clicks and all this stuff, it's going to be sniffed out, even if you use micro workers or all that stuff. Sorry, I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, no,
Simon,
don't
I wanna
worry.
say that.
We're going to cover this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't be doing anything too reckless. Don't worry.
I think the thing as well to remember with building any mass page, whatever tools you use, is to build your business as a proper business. And so it's like building a house. You put your foundation down, you then build your walls up, you put the floor on, you build it, and you put the roof on last of all. If you try putting the roof on first, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So you always think a lot. I always think when I'm building mine
Steps.
that I'm pretending to be that plumber or that electrician. How would I set that site up at first? I wouldn't build a 1,000-page website overnight. I'd build a smaller site and expand it gradually, and Google will get those signs and also get citations in the local area. That I know Simon's mentioned about that before. And just build it up gradually over a period of time. Don't rush it, and you'll find it'll stick a lot harder like glue than just doing it willy-nilly and hoping for the best.
Yeah, and Jorge says for CTR, you must start with branded traffic if it's a new site, and then go for other traffic. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I think Simon's going to have a lot of great information on that. It looks like I've got about 5 minutes left on my battery here. So, guys, enjoy yourselves. Give away that domain only once, guys.
Only one domain. Not all four. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right,
Has
guys.
the thunder gone now, Daryl?
What's that?
Has the thunder gone?
I see.
We heard a slight rumble.
I see sun over there and a dark cloud over there where they are. So I don't want to walk through that. I may have to wait in the car for a few minutes before I go hunt them down where they are. So my family. So yeah.
Are you hanging on until the battery drains out, or are you going to just head off now?
Is it bad if my computer shuts down unnaturally? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
it goes into standby mode, so it's
okay.
All right.
All right,
anyway,
it's got me panicked.
No.
But yeah, I'll just disappear out of the thing. So go ahead and do your thing. I'll be standing by.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I can just continue on. We can keep on talking about CTR and whatever. Let me just put my screen up here. Let's see. Can we see that? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, we'll just continue the discussion really, because we were talking a little bit about engagement and CTR. So here are a few thoughts from me, and obviously, clicks is what we want as website owners, as business owners. We want clicks that typically represent traffic, and from a click-through rate and a signals point of view, just about all traffic from just about all sources is good. But we'll get into where sometimes it could be more of a risk to you, and pick up on some of the points that Daryl makes. But all we're about is clicks and click-through, and people exploring our digital assets, our websites, our GMBs, or whatever else. So no surprise to anyone, Google loves clicks typically. So it's wanting to see clicks, it wants to see engagements and engagement. And we're not just talking about websites. Obviously, I mentioned GMB, videos, adverts. Google's taking a view on all of the user engagement with these types of properties, and it's going to gauge whether ultimately the clicks are meeting search intents. Obviously, Google's mission is making sure that people can find what they're looking for, and when they search for something, they get the right result. So no surprise, high click-through rate and people spending time on the page and multiple page views in any particular session is typically a good signal from Google's perspective. Even if that's one of your competitors looking at your own website and spending a bit of time digging around, Google will see that as good engagement typically. And things like high bounce rates, where somebody comes onto your site and then bounces off without viewing any of the pages, particularly with a low dwell time, tends not to help SEO. So what do I mean by CTR? Most people probably know this, but I'll just mention anyway. So if you look at CTR from a search results point of view, there's some search results for a London restaurant here. The number of times this result is shown versus the number of times it's clicked on is the click-through rate. So if this box in red was shown 100 times in the search, 5 clicks would be a 5% CTR. And you can see that in your Google Search Console, and it's certainly a measure that Google takes notice of. So if somebody was typing in London restaurant and this listing third down on search was consistently getting more clicks through than the ones above, Google over time would make an adjustment and see, well, that third listing maybe deserves a higher ranking because it's getting higher click through. And the thing that can influence that is obviously your website name, maybe some brand awareness, the slug. They might look at some of the things in there. I think that's going to help answer their question better. The meta title. And the meta description. And the meta description is not directly used for SEO, but certainly does help to encourage click-through rate, particularly if you've got a nicely written description and a call to action, whatever else. So I've covered that off previously, but that's something to look for. But anyway, click-through rate for organic search on these results is one factor. It also relates to things like Google PPC as well, in terms of how often adverts are shown. So here's a few ideas we can talk, and as always, be great to get you guys questions and input, and Steve, and if Daryl's still hanging around, your thoughts as well. So here are some ideas. So clicks can come from many different sources, both clicks onto your search results to help your CTR, and then clicks once you're actually within your website or G&B for higher engagement. And depending on these different sources, we'll go through a few ideas. CTR manipulation is basically a tactic where you're helping to boost these signals to your website or other asset to improve your SEO. There's a number of different white to grey to black hat techniques here if you follow that those descriptions, and some are definitely black hat and I think are high risk, and you've got to be very careful, and Daryl's already touched on some of those. So let's just talk about some ones that are essentially black hat activities. So this is where you might use a robot of some description, software robot, and you have completely fake activity. So there's a number of things out here. I'm not recommending these, but there's a website called SERP Empire, which is a robot-based CTR manipulation tool. It will send traffic to pages, it will spend a bit of time on the page, and it'll bounce off, or it'll click something else on it. So you can pay a fee for that, and that is 100% robot generated. And clearly you can go Steve's saying about black hat there. Clearly you can go mad on this, and this is where you can create an anomaly, and that's what you're not looking to do. So if you're looking to manipulate traffic, you don't want to create anything where you've 10 times the traffic one day, caused a massive spike that might raise eyebrows with Google. So these are very dangerous tools to be using potentially. I have tested some of these things. I've not had any particularly definitive results from SERP Empire, but you can do your own research and make your own mind up. Another thing that people have tried are mobile emulators. So you use a software to try and emulate a mobile phone device. You'll look up the website, and it'll think it's a mobile, and you can try and manipulate things that way. There's definitely issues here, and I'm not a technical well, a pure techie as maybe Daryl might be, or some of his devs, or Steve, but if things like IP ranges and location data, you're going to have to either hide these or spoof them in some way, and all hardware has a MAC address, so ultimately it's going to be hard for you to cover your tracks. So these are things that are problems in this type of robot fake activity, and it's something I don't do and don't recommend, but you're welcome to search into that. It's obviously because it's robot based, it tends to be cheaper. Now, kind of a halfway house here in CTR manipulation is using real people to do fake activity. So Daryl mentioned earlier on micro workers. There's another website called SERP Clicks, and there's no doubt other ones as well. And you can basically hire somebody to follow a task. In a particular micro workers, you can lay out a brief. You can say, go to this website or search for this website, X, Y, and Z activity on it. They'll take a screenshot of it, prove they've done it, and send it back to you. That's one way to do it. Again, handle with extreme caution, can be dangerous. You're still going to have potentially issues with footprints. If the micro worker individual is doing a lot of this kind of activity, Google might pick up on their IP address or other footprint about what they do. But it's certainly an interesting one because it does use real people, and a lot of them are actually working from residential IP addresses, so it may look more natural. And just the piece that Jorge or George mentioned earlier on about branded search, we'll talk about that soon, but you can get micro workers to look up your website, and in the SERPs, you could also get them to just go directly through. So you can use it in different ways. There's another tactic that people have been using, which is mobile phone drive arounds. There's a number of quite well known quite well-known SEOs that do this. I gather one person has over 100 mobile phones that they carry around in a suitcase, and will literally land in a town, turn the phones on in batches. Have 10 phones sort of operating, do a directions search for GMB, drive to the GMB, etc., etc. And there's a whole kind of process around this. Very high effort kind of approach, but I guess you're trying to get realism in terms of this manipulation. I've not done this, so I can't confirm that it works or not, but it's certainly an interesting idea of using real devices, real networks, real Gmail accounts, and literally going to a location and driving around, but quite a high effort if you're into that. And here's some things I think I would recommend and would ask you to consider when you are launching your site early on, and ongoing if you're launching a new campaign or you want to give it a bit of a lift. The point about meta descriptions and meta titles, that does really that is really important. So if you have somebody that's looking at your top 10 search results and you're number 5, if you can increase the click-through rate because it's a really well-written meta description, clear call to action, clear benefit or modifier, whatever, that's going to help your overall signals. And that is I suppose it's a manipulation, if you want to call it that way, but it's obviously in line with Google terms and conditions, so it's completely white hat and encouraged. Offline adverts and branded search. So George just mentioned branded search. So this point about early on, you want people to be looking up your name in the SERP, so that Google can start associating that with traffic and also the niche that you're in. So people looking up Simon Hogben, SEO, whatever, is going to be a positive signal for Google. Now, you can encourage that. So if you're doing like an offline advert, a print advert, or even you could do it in online as well. If you said, Google us, Google Simon Hogben to find our page, or Google Simon Hogben SEO to enter our competition or whatever, that would actually, rather than giving people the URL, will encourage them to search on Google, which actually give you a boost. So you can do these things the way encourage different types of traffic. Other things that are quite good for engagement signals, and again, these are sort of popular tactics that are used for Google's benefit, sometimes for clients' benefits as well. If you do launch a new SEO campaign, some SEOs will buy pay-per-click adverts and send some traffic through to that to give the impression of an early successful launch on their SEO. But obviously those are still, if you're using pay-per-click adverts, Bing's particularly cheap, Facebook's also popular. You're sending real traffic in, real people onto the site. They're going to explore it. So you have far fewer issues about it being black hat, because it's real people, it's real traffic, and that's a good thing to be able to get a bit of a lift. Anything from social media is good. Whilst you don't get do follow backlinks, social media referrals and track it are all good signals, and if you can get those for free, that's even better. Competitions, I really like competitions, and they're a fantastic way to get people to go onto your site. So if you're using something like Raffle Press for WordPress, or you can use an embed, you can put that on your site and get people to go to your site and enter the site there. So you'll get some traffic onto the site, maybe some dwell time as well. So that's quite good. And obviously anything though you have engagement from other Google properties, Google sites, YouTube, GMBs, if you can get any traffic from your social media to a GMB and then out to your website, that's that sort of golden triangle really, because again it's showing lots of engagement. So these are all things that can just help give your website a little bit of a boost. If it's stagnant and there's not much user signals coming through, then these are all things that can help. So CTR manipulation, this last area is not really anything to worry about. It's all white hat stuff and good stuff. They're the two areas I'd be cautious about. Perhaps micro workers is in the kind of middle range. If you do anything there, just be very careful not to do anything that's unusual and cause an anomaly. If you're using any robot type traffic, I'd be extremely cautious about that. But these are a few different thoughts you can do. But ultimately, Google wants clicks and Google wants to see engagement, and if you can provide that, you'll help support your SEO. So that's my kind of share and talk for now. As ever, if you want to get in touch, I'm at simonhogben.com. You can see my recommended tools at /tools. I've got some courses at courses.simonhogben.com, and a copy of these slides. I just keep adding to this archive each week, so you can see all the slides going back a few months. simonhogben.com/slides. So that is my slide deck there. Steve, I don't know if you've got any
Yeah,
observations or questions from that.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I would say about micro workers, I tried it, and the problem you have is if Google thinks that they're not in the UK, for example, if you're hitting the UK market or the USA market, and they're not necessarily local to where your niche site is, that can cause a problem with your own stats. So what I love to do is I get friends and family who aren't on my on my own home network to go. So I'll like ask my mum, my dad, my brother, whoever's online. I'll say, do me a favor, go to this URL, just spend a few minutes having a look through the site and tell me what you think. And by saying tell me what you think means that it's asking them to do something for you. And if you get enough friends and family in a group in your local area, just clicking and having a look around, that is sort of a signal, to boost your site. And then maybe a month later, go back and say, just done some tweaks. Would you mind checking it again? Even if you haven't, get them to go and have a look. They'll think, well, nothing's changed. But it's just encouraging your friends and family to help you out with your sites by going to have a look at these niches.
Yeah, for very sort of low, for small local sites, I mean that's going to make a big difference. If you're only getting 2 or 3 organic visits a day, and you have 2 or 3 friends go on, it's doubled it to 6. That's all good. On micro workers, you can actually set it to be, you can choose UK micro workers, but there are far fewer of them, and it costs more as well. So you can change the campaign a little bit, but yeah, the real traffic's great, and if you can have friends and family or a network, a business networking group or whatever else, that's all going to be good and hopefully free as well. So yeah, Steve, Steve's pumped up an interesting point there about Google traffic jams. So yeah, I've heard people using these mobile phones, and because Google will obviously see a large number of phones all in one area, it can see it as a traffic jam that can go through to maps. So that has caused some problems, because when do you have 10, 20 phones in such a small area, apart from if it's a jam or a crowd of people. So yeah, I think that does happen.
Right, I'm off out to buy 100 tomorrow.
Yeah, people do them. Yeah, definitely.
Causes traffic jam in my little town I live in.
yeah. So click parties like from FB, yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. It depends obviously what scale it's at. I think if people are in there and there's again, you've got 2 organic visits a day and you've got 500, I think it's going to be a bit unusual, but they're all real people. You're not using robots, so they're going to have different IP addresses, different parts of the country, countries, whatever. So that's probably pretty safe, I would say. Just don't do anything that's just don't 1,000 times something, I would say.
Yeah. But I think it's also important, whoever you send to your site, that they do spend a bit of time on the site, because if someone clicks on and clicks off very quickly, then Google will go, well, that site can't be very good because someone stayed on for 30 seconds
you
instead
don't
of
want
5
that.
minutes.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that if you're setting a task someone to go on your site, they stay on for at least a few minutes, if not longer, and click through a few pages. Make out even if they're not reading it, it's very similar. My sister is doing a book on Amazon, and for her to get paid for this book on Amazon, right? For anyone who's got the Amazon Kindle Pro, whatever it's called, where you get all the unlimited books, for her to get paid, you have to be almost like you're reading it. So I'm not a big reader of books. So all I did was opened it up, left it running on a page, set a timer for a few minutes on how long I think it'd take to read that page, then click next, set a slightly different timer, click next, and I did that throughout the whole book over a period of a few days, and she got paid for that. And if you just go next, Amazon's going to go, you're not getting paid. And it's very similar with any of these things, that if it doesn't look natural, Google will penalize you. So you've got to make it look natural.
Yeah. Just some questions here. How effective is it if you order the services one at a time and don't do it again? I don't know.
How long's a piece of string? It's very difficult to tell, isn't it?
I tested some stuff with SERP Empire, and you can say, look, go on the site for a minute and do something, and you can set the number of visits a day, and I did come up on Google Analytics, so I saw the traffic. It wasn't being ignored. So from Google's perspective, it did. I think thought it was real, but you know, I ran it for sort of 2-3 weeks on about 4 or 5 sites, and I couldn't put my finger on anything that was definitive. You know, some seemed to go up a bit, some stayed the same, some went down. So it wasn't like a sort of slam dunk. Maybe you test it over a longer period of time and do it consistently, you might, you know, you might get a bit more of a boost or a change. But I don't know. I decided to focus on other things, but you know, you can try it out. I think they offer a trial. I think the problem about putting something on just for a few weeks, if it drops off again, it doesn't. Again, it just makes it not look real traffic. And I think if you have a slump, it may also suggest to Google that people don't like your site anymore, and the content's not as interesting, and it might be a bit of an own goal, you know, to have it actually drop down again. So I think you got to be careful. Probably if you're going to do it, you probably want to be a little consistent for a while to try and build up the organic behind it. But I don't use it myself anymore, so I can't recommend it. But you can experiment yourselves. I think
Try it on a domain. You always try
Yeah.
things on a domain you don't care about. Set a site up on it, mess around with it. That's why I've got some test sites out there that I don't care about the domain names. If they get wrecked, so what? You know, they're the ones I share it publicly as well. So I go, well, I don't care about that. So what? You know, if Google thinks it's damaged, then I'll just get rid of the domain name, start again.
Yeah.
So it's always good to do tests.
Yeah, Don's just saying they need to extract it from their checkout page. So yeah, I think if Google thinks that somebody's gone to a website looking for something, they've gone through a few different stages and they've left on a checkout page, from Google's perspective, that'll look like a job done, mission accomplished. People have gone through a process. I mean, people can still land on a page and bounce off, because you know, many times a search query is answered by one page. I mean, sometimes you have an authority page and there's 5,000 words and, you know, 50 comments, and you might not need to look anywhere else to have your question answered. So I think it can be fine for the to be 100% bounce rate on the page if people's query is answered, but that's where the dwell time comes in. So if people land on the page 2 seconds and go off, I think that's going to be a very bad signal from Google's perspective. If somebody lands on a long page, spends 5 minutes scrolling, looking around, this and that, and then goes off, I think Google's probably going to say, well, you know what, that's probably a good result.
Yeah.
So it's not a cut and dried.
Google loves local businesses. That's the thing you got to remember. You know, they very much they do support local businesses big time. Obviously, they're in it to make money like anyone else. So if you've got a site you can afford to pay Google for advertising, and same with Bing, then do so, because it gives them the signals that you are a proper business spending money with them. You know, but ultimately, the way I've always done it is local citations, local signals, local links. Even down to maybe a rubbishy little online newspaper that you might get a link with them. It just gives them more, those extra those local links to say, yes, you are a local plumber. Yes, you are a local businessman running your local business, and that means you can set loads of them up. And I got asked the other day. Someone said to me, "What do I do if I want to set up in another city, completely different city?" Get yourself a virtual address, or find someone who lives in that area, or see if you can rent a building temporarily, or redivert posts from a building. There's a number of ways of doing it, so you can then use that ultimately to receive the information that you need from Google to initially get set up. A lot of companies don't ask for postcards. It's mainly Bing and Google that send out postcards to confirm that you are at the address you're at. So, I use friends, families, addresses, and then once I've got it all set up, I normally click the button to say remove the address, and then it makes it a service area GMB, and then loads of social signals. But I think it's better to have an address, have the NAP on there, name, address, and phone number, matched all the way across all the citations to get that. Get your site found locally. As people find it, if the information on the site's good and the content's good, people will stay on your site, and that's the click-through rate that Simon's talking about.
Yeah, just on engagement. One of the best things I did, it was actually for my own site. I think people know I do a photography business, and I did a competition to give away a wedding package, which is quite high value. But I actually managed to get 900 entries to this competition, and obviously when people entered the competition, that they were then diverted to the website and then looked around, and it was a great thing from a lead generation point of view. I got a lot of inquiries, but I also did notice that my SEO rankings boosted quite significantly after that, and there were a number of keywords that I got to ranking number 2, 3 on just on the back of that. And I think that was a lot of it down to the fact that, as well as all the SEO and on-page and technical and all the other stuff I was doing, there were just a lot of people going onto the site, and I think Google saw that, and that gave me a boost. So things like that are great. Get people onto your site however you do it, but competition's one thing that has worked well for me if it works for your niche. So anyway, conscious you wanted to talk a little bit about Magic Page as well, Steve. I want to keep us going on that. Yeah.
Let me share my screen. There's been a few things that it's just minor. They're not, one of which is being resolved by the Magic Page team. I know that they're getting this resolved. So I'll just bring my site up now. So you can see there, this is the error you get. That this is Elementor. It's an Elementor build, and it says the preview could not be loaded. We're sorry, but something went wrong. Click here to learn more. And you think, well, what do I do to fix this? Well, it's a very simple fix now in Magic Page, and they are looking into resolving this. This happened because of an update with Elementor. And Elementor, when they do updates, it breaks things, and that's understandable. But this fix is very, very easy. If you've got any page on the new version of Magic Page, that's a standard page or Magic Page itself, you need to do this. So this is a Magic Page. So I haven't got a default location set. So I'm going to type in the default location. These are all in Ireland. I always pick this in the UK area because it's got the smallest number of locations. We're going to click update. And this is all you need to do. So I've got a central location now in there. If you've got, obviously, if that comes up with 3,000 locations, you either reduce it down in there or you tick the little box in there. While I'm chatting, by the way, but 1 in the chat if you own Magic Page plugin, and 2 if you don't. It's just nice to know who's watching, who does own it, who doesn't, because I don't want to baffle people with the technology if you all understand it. So what we also do now is click on Edit in Elementor. And I went to the settings of Elementor earlier to tick the box to make it work with Magic Page plugin. There's training on that. And as you can see now, I'm straight in. I can edit the page. The spin text is in here, so it's all sorted. Now, the other issue that comes up that not many people are aware of, okay, and I'm just going to come back now and show you this. So this is the normal edit mode of Magic Page plugin. And what I've done on purpose is created a spin text shortcode. All right, now this is the one that you saw on the page, which puts the content in. It works as it is, but the thing is you've got to be so careful of how you do this. So if I now hit edit, I've got spin text in the spin text shortcode area. This will slow down your admin control panel big time. So what do you do if you say, well, I want lots of options and I want to put spin text shortcode in a spin text shortcode to make it even more valuable? What we do, we copy this, we come up and we create a new X field. Now I haven't got any X fields on this demo site at the minute, but I'm going to put the spin text content in here. Okay, and then I'm going to label this. So I'll just call it content CT1 for an example. And I click save. This has now generated the X field. We can now copy that X field, come down, and in option 1 of the spin text shortcodes, we can now put content 1 in. Now, if you wanted multiple variations, then what you'd want to do is create another X field, right? Call it CT2, but put something in there. So we've got something there, and click save. Then what you want to do is copy CT2, come down. We want to add a new option in here because this is where it's spinning the options, and paste that in there and click save. So at this point now, I've got CT1 and CT2, right? X field CT1 and 2 in there, and this is the content. I haven't changed the Magic Page spin text shortcode. That's still on the front page. Now, if we're going to come up and we're going to do update, and you only need to do this if you're finding your admin control panel is slow when using Magic Page plugin. We're now going to come back here and we're going to view the page. And I'm just going to open this in a new tab. And we've got hello there. If I now come back into settings of Magic Page and this is something else you guys can do if you want to test it. I'm going to delete the spin text shortcode, come back here, and we'll spin this again and see if it's changed again. So now it's got the spun version of local plumbers near Boldhoon. And if I come back again, I can delete spin text shortcode, click OK, and let's see what this brings in now. Hello there, and we'll spin it again. And the reason we're doing all this spun content is so that it's unique each time on the site. So let's see if that's cleared anything. It stayed the same. We'll try again. So that's how I'm building them out now, by doing an extra step on them at the moment that will resolve that issue as we go along. So they're the two areas you guys need to work on. Oh, wrong button. There we go. That's better. Those are the two areas you need to work on. If you're having issues with Elementor, just add a location for the time being. I know that issue is going to be looked at and resolved as soon as possible. It's just a minor issue, and it's it's at least now we're aware of what's going on. I had someone contact me last week who had this very issue, and by chance I managed to get it working. I thought it was something else, and then since speaking to Keith, I found out that's what was happening. You needed a location in there, which then makes Elementor work fine. So it's a very easy thing to do, and then, like I said, put your spin text into an X field into the options, and then spin the options. Ideally, if you're using spin text shortcode, you might just be better pasting the normal text in and have option 1 to 10, all different text. You spin it normally, copy the text without any spin text shortcodes in it, and whack it into an option. That's probably a better way of doing it, and that's how you fix that. So hopefully, guys, that's all helped you. But one in the chat, if that's been helpful, it's always nice to know. And the same if what you found Simon talking about tonight. And in a minute, we got the domains to give away. So also pop your names in the chat as well.
Are we going to get anybody on to spin the wheel or anything like that? I've got sort of 10 minutes left. Should we get the guest line open, Steve?
Yeah,
it should be. Did Daryl set us up for it? Yeah.
Well, he said he was setting up. Should I check it works? Hang on it.
Go on then.
Just in case. He said he was going to do it.
We always like people to come on, so you're welcome to come on. Come and say hello if you've got a question, ask a question, and we'll try and help you out. That would be great. And then maybe if people are hanging around, we can spin the wheel as well. So there we go. I'll stick on the banner.
It's all working.
So if you want to join us, it's go.ht/guest. Come and say hello, ask a question, and then we'll gear up for the big draw.
And the thing is, I've got the wheel of names up. I'm just typing them in as we speak. And the thing is, if you can pop on and just say spin, you don't have to talk about anything. It'd be nice for someone else for a change to pop in and say, oh, spin, spin, spin. So do pop in. We got a few minutes before. And I'll share my screen there as well, so you can see me typing everyone's name in.
Just got on some of the lines up there. Yeah. Do you want me to help you out? We've got.
You read. I'll just get back onto the right screen. You can read them out.
We've got Steve D. Devon L. We've got Jorge R. We've got 3C Pod, Stephen Crump, Colin K.
I just get how to spell Devon's name. D-I-V-E-N, that's it.
Devon, D-I-V-E-N, yeah.
Yeah, Devon. Who else have I missed? We've got George in there, yeah.
I don't know whether George, you need to tell us if it should we say George, Jorge, or something else. Give us some guidance, that would be great.
3C
Pod. Colin Kinsella, Colin K. We've got Paul P.
I've got him in there.
Terry, yeah.
Matthew.
Thanks, Walt, for the comment there. Good info, guys. That's great. If you guys want us to cover anything else next time, let us know. We're always looking for ideas, so that's appreciated. Don, could have Don in there. Don loves this game show. I know he only comes on to watch this. He's hanging on there.
Am I missing anyone in there? Let's have a look. It's
got
David.
Walter,
David
Tullock. David T. No, you don't put David in. David T. Get you in. Matthew R. You've got Matthew, yeah. Awesome.
Oh, I can't type tonight, Davey.
I think that's pretty much everybody. Steve D.
T.
Yeah. Matthew,
If you can't see your name, let me know. We'll give you a moment or two to have a look. And if you want to pop on, just to say spin, go HT/guest. Do pop in. We'll give you a moment or two to do that because there's always a slight delay. So it's go HT/guest is the link. It's on the screen now. Mr. Steve Dimmock, if you want to hop on and just shout spin. You don't have to talk about anything in particular. It's always nice to see you guys. And then when we finish tonight, you guys can, if you're quite welcome to join us at DFY Magic Theme /live for the live for you tonight, where we just chat about any old rubbish. To be honest, we don't nothing in particular. Yeah, so it's always good to have a chat. And
is Robert there? This is where you flip over to Robert and catch him out. Yeah.
Look, there he is. But the thing is, this week he's covered up his camera. Look, can you see?
All right. Yeah.
On purpose. So
he's obviously got a guilty conscience.
Yeah, he's hiding himself this week. So I caught him out last week. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Steve's having problems logging in. He's trying to log in. It says it's ended. Look, we might have some technical problems there because I think Daryl sets it up for us, and Daryl's.
Give me a moment, Steve. So... What I'll do, I'll kindly get Steve the direct link. I'll just send it to him now if he wants to hop in.
Okay, we've got a late entrant, Tim. Tim Judge has just.
I'll add him in a moment.
Oh, we will get you on. You've got. Yeah.
Let's pull this over a
You
minute.
got your message with Mike there coming up there.
I know. It's all right. It's only a thing about. I was asking Mike earlier about spin text and spin text shortcodes.
Yeah, no worries.
And so I was confirming with him that was the case.
Cool.
There's no important information.
No gossip. No, that's a shame.
No.
Okay.
I'll just quickly find. Why won't note down? Steve, if you keep an eye on your Skype, Steve D. If I can find the right thing in today.
If not, if we can't get it done, we don't need to worry too much. But it'd be great to see you, Steve. I know I've been having some contact offline with Steve. We're talking about mass page building and swapping some ideas, which is all quite interesting. We're obviously on the Menterprise program, so
I'll stick the link into him now. There's the way that Skype goes slow when we're doing these live things. So any minute now, Steve, it should appear. So that's it. It should have gone. I hope.
Can you, Steve? Could you add Tim's name onto the wheel of names as well? Just the bottom, Tim Judge.
Yeah.
I'll pop up the list of domains as well, actually. So that might be.
Yeah, do that while
just to remind you, because there's some good ones this week. Well, there's good ones every week, but there we go.
Well, we're seeing if Steve can join us. We give him just a couple more minutes to try and hop on, and hopefully.
Okay, so here's the domains. There you go. Bestprices.com, gamingsupreme.com, incredible.com, logosniper.com. I think it's a pretty good selection this week, actually, to be honest. I mean, I think they're all very brandable, aren't they? Yeah. Nice. Okay, so I'll just turn that banner off. Let's just do this. There we go. And we'll get Steve on. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Good to see you. Hello there.
I've got my ClickFunnels shirt on.
Oh yeah, nice.
Hey.
Boo, ClickFunnels, boo.
How are you doing? You all right? I think had a good week, Steve.
My brain's a bit scrambled with manually doing some spin tax coding.
Yeah.
So
it hurts, doesn't it?
So did you just pop on to shout spin? I think we got everyone. If we got everyone in there, let's just check. Did we? Is Erdl?
Have you got a question, Steve, or are you just saying hello, or do you want to say spin? What can we do for you just before we start the wheel of names?
I want to say spin.
Spin. Okay.
So
all right, awesome. Well,
let's make sure. I think I've got everyone on there now.
Yeah. So I think we're pretty good. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, spin.
Spin. Oh, Erdl. Have we got? Hold on.
He's in.
All right.
Right.
Yep.
We'll just let it go around once more in its for the entirety. So if your name's not on there, you got a few seconds to do it. Starting from Steve D, at the time it takes to go round, right the way around to the other side. We'll make sure we've not seen anyone else's names coming in. So when it gets around to Steve D, then it's up to him to shout spin, and we will hit the magic button.
Click it to win it. Spin it.
Yeah. Right, whenever you're
Spin.
ready, Steve.
Spin.
Go.
Spin.
Da, 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 da.
Spin faster.
Who's it going to be?
Don.
And it's
Don.
Don. Well done, Don.
Don wins.
He'll add it to
so
his
Don,
collection.
Do you want to pop back up the list again, Simon?
Yeah, I'll
And
do that.
Don, you have to contact Mr. Daryl, who's in a thunderstorm in the middle of nowhere at a fair. He's probably gone on the waltzers now, knowing him. So that's where he's gone off to.
What
and
are you
they're
going
all
to pick,
the ones
Don?
there for you guys. So
Which one do you think you might have, Don? Have you got an inkling, or are you still make your mind up?
There's a secret prize behind one of those answers.
Yeah. He
He's
wants
going
D.
for D. D.
So
Let's remind
message,
ourselves.
message Daryl direct, and Mr. Daryl will go, no, you can't have it. No, he'll say, yes,
Logo
you
Logo
can.
sniper.
Nice.
Yeah. Very good.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done, Don.
Brilliant.
That's great. Yeah. So,
So
Steve, anything else you want to say to us whilst you're here? I know you're busy. You've got a hurt brain on your spin tax, but good to have you with us. It's always nice to say hello.
Mr. Dimmock has just come through a bad cold, as I'll call it, and it's nice to see you looking all happy again, mate.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, my parents both had COVID, and I was
Oh, no.
fighting it, and
wow.
yeah, much better now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah. Nasty.
My parents were fully vaccinated, and they still got it.
Yeah.
But that's
good to have you with us.
We're glad you're all back to normal. So tonight we learnt about how to fix Magic Page plugin if you're using Elementor, and don't use SpinText shortcode. Don't use SpinText in SpinText shortcodes. Use them in the next field and do a jump. And then all the click through stuff. Do you want to give them a quick reminder, Simon, of what we talked about?
Yeah, it talked about click through and engagement and how that can be a good signal for Google, and talked a bit about some black hat stuff and some white hat stuff and some thoughts. And if you want to get the slides at simonhogman.com/slides. And any questions, let me know. And any ideas people have for future sessions, if there's things that you want us to focus on, please get in touch, reach out, and it'd be good. We hopefully can add some value and help everyone out if you let us know what you want.
And of course, guys, when we finish here tonight, you can pop over to this URL on the screen now and come and say hello. We chat about all sorts of things, and we get people from the DFY group popping in. So you're welcome to come on over and say hello. Grab yourself a coffee. I'll be in there in about 10 minutes or so. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Good to see you. Take care.
I'll be in there in about 10 minutes or so while I grab myself a coffee and sort myself out. It's been a great wealth of information tonight, and it was nice that Daryl could hop on. This is what happens when you do so well in the IM world. You can become part-time.
He's living the dream. He'll be on his island next time, won't he? He'll be on some Caribbean island.
He's gone from the log cabin down to a car, right? So the next step up is the island. So I think next week we'll be seeing the backdrop with the beach.
Yeah, that would be nice. Let's see what we can come up with.
Yeah. So I think that's what it's. Where is Daryl each week now? So, but thank you, everyone. Thank you, Simon. It's
good to see you again, Steve.
Great. And guys, if you want to hop on over, you're quite welcome to come and join us. Grab a coffee, come and say hello. dfymagicthemes.com/live, and we just have a general chit chat in there. And I'll be in there about 10 minutes. But I think that's everything, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, thanks everyone. Good to see you. And
brilliant.
We'll see you same time next week. Bye.
Yeah, same time next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.